Hello, welcome to Xeloview. My name is Sylvia, and today I wanted to talk about one of the few worst things people have said to me. Um, it may not sound that bad, but as an autistic person, this one sentence has cost me my entire academic career. But let's start with a bit of background. As you may or may not know, I'm I grew up in the Netherlands. Uh, I went to the HAVO, which is a general secondary education, and it generally prepared students for applied sciences, not academic research. It, and it, we have a pretty structured traditional system. And in my time, I was one of the last that could go from the HAVO to the VWO, where which is catered more to academics, that prepare you for academic research. But in one of my biology classes, I remember the teachers once saying, "No result is still a result," and that is one of the worst things that has ever been said to me. It made sense to me at the time. If your experiment didn't work, you still learned something. It felt wise. It felt good. So, I also learned that it's not wise to put it into your essay that you're supposed to write about the test that you were doing at the time. And but that's where it went. So years later, I'm going to university, and in my first year, one of my first lecturers was a lecture about zebrafinches. And why I remember that lecture is every time I asked a question, or anyone asked a question to the professor, it was like the answer was, "I don't know." And that so it reinforced the fact that no result is still a result. But I also realized that what but at the time I also realized, why was that lecture given? It never should have been in the curriculum. So we go on to my bachelor internship. Um, I'm in autistic burnout then. I just didn't know it. But my brain suddenly remembered the quote, "No result is still a result." So that's it. It fits. I put it in my thesis. I should have done that. It wasn't academic. And combined with the burnout, that misstep cost me my Bachelor of Science. Um, Due to the autistic burnout, I was suffering from skill regression. And that wasn't helping much either. I lost the ability to turn everyday thoughts into academic languages. In academia, if you can speak the language, they assume you don't understand, even if you understand perfectly. And I could understand, but when I was in my professor's office to work on the internship, I understand completely. One step out of the door and all the knowledge was gone, which is a bit odd. And that's when I knew there was something wrong. This January, I attended the presentation. It was for people to graduate, and the speaker there had the opposite issue. They couldn't stop using jargon, and they didn't get the simplification that someone would need to understand the research. And like, I realized he couldn't simplify, I couldn't complicate things. It's just the same problem from opposite ends. But in the end, it's the old line from biology class that came back to me. No result is still a result. I now see it differently. Sometimes the result isn't about me, it's about the system that one is in. And also where it gives you space to show what you know. It's about using your knowledge of your failure at the right time. No result is still a result. That's true. It's still a result. But you need to know when and where to use that. And obviously, once you've been told wrong, you're gonna keep doing that again and again and again because that's what you're taught. And it also made me think of that in the end, I was the professor in the Zebrafinch lecture. I don't know. Like, I don't know is still a result. And that is what, and I just came to that realization now. That in the end, my academic career came to the same principle where one would mock a professor in the first year, in your first year of research, doing a lecture on a subject he doesn't know anything about yet. And with that, I think about another thing my biology teacher at the HAVO said. Don't stretch yourself too thin. And that is exactly what I did. And that's ultimately why I failed. Because when I stretched myself too thin, autistic burnout hit. and it couldn't go on. So there are lessons in everything, even when I get lost in translation. Please like, subscribe and ring the notification bell for more updates.